Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Krishno Rakshatano Jagatraya Guruhu Krishnam Namasyamyaham. Krishne Namarasitravo Vinihataha Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishna Deva Samuthitam Jagadidam Krishnasya Daso Asmyaham. Krishne Tisthati Sarvamitadakhilam. Hey Krishna Samrakshamam. Jai Srimanarayana. Jai Srimanarayana. Today is September 26, 2022. With Acharya's blessings, we are continuing Bhagavad Gita. Second chapter, we finished up to Sloka 14. So I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Sloka 14. Okay. Should I start the slideshow? Would it be better? Is this better?
This is fine. Yeah, this is better. Definitely.
This is better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's chant the Sloka 15. Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Yam hi navyadhayantyete.
Yam he navyathayantyete.
Purusham Purusharshabha.
Purusham Purusharshabha.
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram.
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram.
Somrutattvaya Kalpate.
Somrutattvaya Kalpate.
Let's chant together.
Yam he navyathayantyete. Purusham Purusharshabha. Samadukha Sukham Dhiram. Somrutattvaya Kalpate.
Sloka, so Bhagavad Gita message started from Sloka 12 in chapter 2. So 12, 13, 14, 15, these four slokas are called Gita Chatusloki. So this is the basis for the entire Bhagavad Gita. So if you want to understand in a nutshell, if you want to understand the entire message in a nutshell, these four slokas will provide. Okay, so and the rest of the second chapter is elaboration on these four slokas, and then rest of the first 6 chapters is the elaboration on again the second chapter, and second Shatkam is elaboration again on the first 6 chapters, and then 13 to 18 chapter, third Shatkam is again elaboration of the entire 1 to 12 chapters. So this 4 slokas form the basis for entire Bhagavad Gita message. So I just, of course, every verse, every sloka is important, but I just want to mention that these 4 slokas have much more significance because these are providing the basic fundamental knowledge, foundation of entire Bhagavad Gita. So, so what is in the previous sloka, just to recap, previous sloka, what did Lord Krishna say? That Hey Kaunteya, O Arjuna, Matra Sparshastu Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkadaha. So sense contacts, Mata Sparshas, sense contacts are producers of Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkha. So that is heat and cold, I mean cold and heat, and Sukha Dukkha, pleasure and pain. And Agama Apayinaha, so they come and go. Anityaha, they are transient. Hey Bharata, Tan Titikshasva, tolerate them. Now, if you this is the fundamental foundation knowledge. Like if somebody asks, okay, what is the primary message that we need to take from Bhagavad Gita? How should I live, right? What is the practice? What should I practice? If somebody asks, this is the first thing that should come to our mind. Tolerate, titiksha, tolerate is the message that Lord Krishna gave. Based on this, it will build up. So, what do we have to tolerate? I mean, why do we have to tolerate? So, we have to tolerate the Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkha. Okay, so Tan Titikshasva, so Tan, them. So the them here is the Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkha. These are the pairs of opposites. I just mentioned two pairs here. Sita Ushna is related to how our senses perceive, our skin perceives, specifically skin perceives heat or cold. And Sukha Dukkha is how we perceive something, in our mind, right? So the Sukha Dukkha is particular to our perception, so, and based on our expectations. So that's one important thing. So one is physically, our bodies cannot tolerate beyond a particular limit for any senses. It could be, like Sita Ushna, cold and heat. I mean, our body cannot tolerate, say beyond 50 degrees centigrade or say 120, 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Nobody can tolerate that. And below certain degrees Fahrenheit also, it is very cold and we cannot tolerate. And same with the sound. If it is too loud, we cannot tolerate, and too low, we cannot hear. And there's nothing to tolerate there. We cannot hear. And same way, hard and soft, sharp, sharp edges, we cannot, it's going to cut. So it's not possible. We feel that, so those are the pairs of opposites we perceive through our senses. There's nothing like in some are like pretty global in nature. Like every human being cannot tolerate say 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's obvious. Just to give an example. So that is one. Second is when we perceive something through the senses, we have certain expectations. And when the expectations are met, we are feeling the pleasure. When expectations are not met, we feel the pain, right? So, for example, in summer, we expect, let's say we stand outside in the hot sun for a long time. And then when we come inside, we expect it to have the air conditioner. So, and if there is no air conditioner, I mean, if it is not cold inside, we feel that, that dukkha, sad or pain. So there we are expecting cold, right? Cold is giving us pleasure. Now in winter, when we go outside in the cold weather and then we come inside, we expect it to be hot. So then again, if it is cold inside also, we feel the pain. Or when, in winter, when we simply go out and we had no expectation that it is going to be cold, then suddenly it is very cold. Suddenly it starts raining. We feel the pain. When there is no rain at all for, say, 6 months, and then there's no water, and then it starts raining, we feel the pleasure. So the same event is giving us either pleasure or pain based on our expectations. So that is the second pair of opposites. The other pairs of opposites, praise and criticism. So there's nothing that it is not painful for ears, right? It's not painful for ears, somebody praising or criticizing. We hear it, and then based on our expectations, we feel the pleasure or pain. So our mind translates the sensory perceptions into pleasures and pains based on our expectations. Okay, so far good. So these sensory experiences and the experiences that are generated in our mind, the pleasures and pains, we need to tolerate them. That is the message that Lord Krishna is giving in the previous sloka, 14th sloka. Okay. Any questions on that?
I do have a question, sir. So is Bhagavan saying, okay, tolerate that, right? So that's fine. We can do that. But however, if there is an option, right? New Jersey versus Florida, where there's like warm weather, right? I always want to move, right? So that is against what Bhagavan is saying. No matter what, you just learn to tolerate, right? Tolerance is every highest virtue, is what he's saying, right?
Yeah. So what does tolerate means? Is the question.
My question is,
what do you mean by tolerate?
No, my question is, yeah, that's great, I can tolerate, but however, if you have if you think you can make your life better, and if there is an option, why not move to a warm place? Here, we need to always, like, I'm not talking about Florida in general, right? Here we are conditioned in air conditioned room, right? And then now we are saying, okay, you tolerate. Tolerate is again, it's an overloaded word here, right? We're not tolerating, we are just using heat or cold to kind of contain ourselves in a right environment, right? What I'm saying is, what I understand is, okay, you should be able to contain also, but again, like if there is no option, if you cannot bear the cold, then move to a warm place and then use less air conditioning or anything of that sort, right?
Yeah. So this is very important. There is a difference between just a generic meaning of the sloka and the significance in the context that we are learning. Okay. So, for example, just because Lord Krishna said you have to tolerate heat or cold, Bhagavad Gita says you have to tolerate. And then, when it is extreme winter, book a ticket to Arctic or Antarctic and live there. No. And then go and start living there because I want to prove myself that I can tolerate, and now I can tolerate. That is not the purpose here. What Lord Krishna is saying is basically that we have certain duties to perform. Okay, while performing our duties, our senses are exposed to the sensory objects. Okay, so so it is automatic, it is designed, programmed that these sensory objects, they do their function. So we see, we hear, we feel, all that, right? So so every second we are actually getting some sensory perceptions. These sensory perceptions generate based on the senses and the measure of those whatever we are feeling, we get this pairs of opposites, either hot, cold, or pleasures and pains. Now, when such a thing occurs, you have to tolerate it. You don't be changing based on the senses. You have to focus on your duty. Whatever we are supposed to do, that takes focus, and not the pleasures and pains and the sensory pleasures, sensory experiences. So the sensory experiences we need to tolerate means that we should not be affected by them. We should be having mental balance. Pleasures and pains, we should not be affected by them. We should not be moved by them. So we should not be moved by them. Then what we do is we have to do our duty. Okay. So it is not that we have to somehow force ourselves to live in a very cold place or a very hot place, or it is not that when it is cold, don't do anything to change the your way of living. Like it doesn't say that when it is cold, don't put a heater. When it is hot, don't put AC. It is not that. It is that when you are performing your duties, when we are living, we are going to be exposed to sensory experiences and pleasures and pains based on the sensory experiences. Those should not be driving us. Okay, our duty should be driving us. Don't be basically tolerate them. Don't change yourself. Okay, like what happens is, as soon as let us say I'm performing my duty, I'm going I'm going on the road and it's suddenly starts raining. Okay, don't be disturbed by it. You have a duty to drive on the road. Just drive. Okay, don't be disturbed by it. Now what he's saying is that they are agama apayinha, so they come and go. Okay, like typically what happens is when such a some sensory experience occurs, we somehow forget that it is coming and going. Okay, we live in that experience thinking it is permanent. Okay, it is going to be there forever. So we get disturbed by that. As soon as we know that it is only for a few minutes that I'm going to face this, like somebody is criticizing, scolding you, or we face extreme weather situation, or things like that. We have to realize that it is only temporary in nature. It is not going to last forever. Now, sukha dukkha, it's very important that sukha is also not going to last forever. Okay. Now there is right. So any of these experiences are temporary in nature, and they are transient, and they're not. They're not like permanent. One thing is, let us say we experience certain some physical, financial problem, or a health problem, or any problem, let us say. Now, we have to know that it is going to be over and it is not going to repeat again. Okay, that experience is something that is something that we have to go through, and it is over. So when we know that it is over, that is when we will be able to tolerate it. I mean, if let us say someone is scolding us, we will lose patience after like certain time, right? So if we think that it is not going to stop at all, we will start affected by it. Or if it is very cold, then we start affected by it. But if we know that it is going to complete, and the same experience will not repeat again, because whatever karmic experiences that we have to go through, we have to go through. Once they are done, we should feel happy. So that certain, let's say certain bad experience that we are going through is over now. I don't have to go through that again. Okay, that will make us tolerate it. So he's saying that know that any of these experiences they come and go. When you are experiencing a particular pain, you will be able to tolerate it if you know that it is going to end, and the same is not going to repeat again. So it gives you toleration. Now, if let us say we are having pleasure. What does the meaning of tolerate there? Like why tolerate comes in the time when we're talking about nice feeling to the senses, and also the pleasure that we experience, or somebody praises us, and all these things. What is the meaning of tolerate there? Anyone?
Is it truly tolerate or maintaining the equanimity? When you're happy and when you're sad, maintain the balance, right? That's what
Mhm.
is the
Yeah.
sloka is talking about.
There is a next sloka is talks about balance. So what is tolerate when it comes to the happiness, pleasure, joy?
Stay calm, not overexcited.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Endure it. Yeah.
I mean, typically there is nothing that is, we have to say that, oh, I have to endure pleasure, right? I mean, typically is use that when it is painful.
stay in that happiness, that knowing that is not permanent, not overexcited, even though you are happy, you maintain that calmness, move to the next.
Yeah.
But is it
So
contradictory though? In Sloka 11, Bhagavan tells, don't feel sorry over the dead or living. And then on 4, he's contradicting then the senses to the objects, right? So what is the, I'm trying to understand.
okay. So I mean, when we feel, let's say, Arjuna is feeling that he's going to, when the elders are going to be killed, all the friends and family are going to be killed, he's having the pain. Okay. So that thought is giving him the pain. There's no sensory experience there. So that pleasures and pains. Now, in this case, he is having the pain that something is bad is going to happen to his friends and relatives. So that is giving him pain. So it is, he has to tolerate that. Okay. Now, because that is an experience he has to go through. Okay. And then it is not going to repeat again. He will go through that experience. It is not that he can avoid it. Okay. We are, again, going into details, like we take birth in this body to have certain experiences, to go through our whatever karmic records that are assigned to us, we have to go through it. So we have to, we should not be affected by them and take a different decision than what we are supposed to. See, when, we're again going back to the pain part of it, we'll come to the pleasure, what is tolerate. So when we have some certain pain, there are two things that we do. Before we experience pain, okay, we, in anticipation of the pain, we do not do our duty. Okay. So that is what Arjuna is trying to do there. He's feeling the pain, thinking about an event that is going to occur. So he doesn't want to do his duty. Okay. Or when we already start doing something, and then while going through the duty, you experience pain. Okay. So in these two cases, what do we do typically is we change ourselves. We do not tolerate it, and we want to come out of that situation. I want to come out of the pain. So that's what Arjuna was trying to do. I'm feeling the pain, thinking that these people are going to be hurt or killed. Now, what is that I need to do to, so I'm affected by it. I'm affected by the pain. So how do I stop the pain? Is by not doing my duty, by withdrawing from the war. So that is what he's doing. So tolerate is, you will face it, tolerate it. You have to do your duty. That is what Lord Krishna is saying. So when you don't change yourself, tolerating is like, when you are going to an office and then it is very cold, then you tolerate the cold and then you go all the way to the office. Okay, if you don't tolerate, what happens is you will come back to home, right? So tolerate is endure in that case, right? And you are not affected. Your decision to perform an activity is not affected by it. Is tolerating that event that is giving you pain. Okay, so Arjuna, in case of Arjuna, he is feeling the pain, and Lord Krishna is saying is tolerate that pain. Tolerate in the sense that don't be affected by it. Again, that is what is mental balance also. That will come in the next sloka. So don't be affected by it. It doesn't say that you should not feel it. You will feel it. It is real. The feeling is real. But know that it is coming and going. So there is a definite start and end. Okay. It's like a project, the definition of a project. There's a beginning and end. And then it is not going to repeat again. Okay. So that is anitya. It is one more thing. So it can be taken as nitya in the sense that we will go through such experiences, in our life. It is not that we can stop any of those. So we may not have the same experience again, but we may have some other type of experience where we will have the pleasure of pain. So we have to learn to tolerate and not be affected by these experiences. You as an Atma, you have a duty. The duty you have to do using your senses and body. While you are doing your duty, you will face sensory experiences and sensory pleasures and pains. You don't be affected by them. Don't change your duty or stop doing your duty. You have to continue doing your duty. And, then again, he will say, what is that you will get when you do that? So here, tolerating pleasures and pains. Okay. So understood on the tolerating pain.
Yeah.
It's easy to understand the tolerating pain, but tolerating pleasure.
Right. So the root, also the root cause of my question was, so Bhagavan discusses this in chapter 4, right? I mean, Karma Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, in 14th chapter, 14th verse, right? Similarly, he brings up again in chapter 6, verse 7, in Bhakti Yoga also, right? So, and also he repeats in chapter 12. So that's more concerning, right? So this is 3 times he brings this up. And same Shitoshna Sukha Dukkeshu, chapter 12. Yes. Also he says that Samasanga Vivarjita. You have to do that too. So it's when he brings up 3 times, it just makes me really conscious.
That's why I'm saying that this is the most fundamental thing that Lord Krishna mentioned. It repeats, a lot of principles repeat in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so this is the most fundamental thing that we need to practice. If you are not able to practice this, there's nothing that it's like elementary. Okay, if we should start practicing this right away. Okay, if we are not able to practice this, don't think of bhakti yoga, papatti, and all that stuff. So this is where if we start practicing this, then yes, we'll go next step. We'll understand karma yoga and all that. More. This is part of karma yoga only. So again, so that's why it will come again in later chapters that you have to treat the pairs of opposite as equal. And again, we'll see the next sloka. Samadukka Sukham Dhiram that we just chanted, we'll understand the meaning of that in a few minutes. But tolerating is the fundamental concept. Now, tolerating pleasure is typically what happens is after we feel the pleasure, after the pleasure is over, what do you experience typically?
Will be sad or, of course, sir.
Yes, perfect. We want it again. So you tolerate
Basically,
that
we want
experience.
permanent happiness.
Yeah. So these experiences, the sensory experiences that we face, even the pleasures, they have start and stop. So when it is over, the pleasure is over, you tolerate that feeling of that pleasure is over. Of course, during when we are feeling the pleasure, we should not go overboard. So when the feeling of pleasure is over, it is not really pain there. You let us say we went to a vacation, very beautiful place, 7-day vacation on a cruise, and then enjoyed a lot, forgetting about the work and everything, right? Now, after that vacation is over, we'll be left with some kind of a void. I mean, we think, oh, that was so great. I should have gone there. I should have gone there. I wish it continued. So that, or we spend some time with someone who we really like, or a friend, we meet somebody, or we go to some place. So there's a pleasure, start and stop. Now, after that pleasure is over, we start thinking of that pleasure, and then get affected by it. Okay. Now, we either want to change our duty so that we can get back to the pleasure, okay, which is incorrect. Like if I have a duty, I went to a vacation for 7 days, and then I really like that, and then I simply don't want to continue my duty. So what happened there? I'm not able to tolerate that experience of coming out of the pleasure. I want the pleasure to continue. That is not right. I mean, pleasure will not continue. It has start and stop. You may face some pleasure while doing your duties. When we face pleasure, you can enjoy. I mean, it's not that we should not enjoy. We feel sad. No. But when the pleasure is over, don't be affected by it, is what Lord Krishna is saying. So tolerate the feelings of pleasures and pains that happen in your body. Good. So, I mean, we'll go to Sloka 15. What Sloka 15 is saying. So what do we get if I tolerate? This fundamental principle of tolerating. If I follow that principle, what is the benefit I get? If you ask me, if I have pleasure, I should always continue to have pleasure. So I should not be tolerating the loss of pleasure. Okay. If I have pain, while doing the duty, then it appears that, hey, why do I do this duty? I mean, let me not do it. So, and avoid that experience of pain. That seems to be the logical thing to do, because it is going to, get us out of the pain. So Lord Krishna is saying, tolerate it and then continue doing your duty. Now, what is the benefit if I do that? So in this next sloka, he is defining what is the benefit of doing the duty. So he's saying, Lord Krishna is saying, Hey Purusha Shabha, he's saying, oh best of men, that is Arjuna, Yam Samadukha Sukham Dhiram Purusham. Yam, whoever, Dhiram is wise. So whoever wise person, Samadukha Sukham, who is balanced in pleasure and pain. Okay. And for whom ever, ete na vyadhyanti. So he's saying, ete, these. What are these? Earlier he talked about the matra sparshas, right? The sense contacts. So the sense contacts, na vyadhayanti, is do not trouble. So these sense contacts do not trouble whoever person is not going to be troubled by the sense contacts, okay, and who is balanced in sukham and dukkham, that is pleasure and pain. Saha, that person, amrutatvaya kalpate, that person qualifies for eternal bliss. Okay, so amrutatvaya, eternal. So eternal bliss. So one who tolerates and who is not troubled by these pleasures and pains, that person qualifies for eternal bliss. I mean, again, it is just because. So as I said, right, like somebody who reads this particular sloka will say, "Oh, if I am balanced in pleasures and pains, I'll get moksha, I'll get liberation." That is what kind of it says that, right? So I don't have to do anything. Yeah. That's not the case. That's not how we should interpret this. So if, I mean, what Lord Krishna is saying here is that when you are balanced in sukha and dukkha, okay, then you will be able to do your duties. Okay. When we do our duties, then we become eligible to become liberated. Okay, so it is not that I am going to sit in my room, I will forget about all my duties. Like Arjuna can say, "Oh, I'm going to be, just not disturbed by, any of the pleasures and pains, and I'm going to do some simply meditation, and I'll not do my assigned duty." And I mean, the meditation is not because he's eligible; he just wants to get out of the duty. Okay, so then I'll become liberated. No, that's not the case. So sama dukkha sukham viram. Sama dukkha sukham is, can anyone again explain what their understanding of sama dukkha sukham? We touched about it in the previous sloka, but what do you understand by sama dukkha sukham?
They are alike. They are not different.
I mean, how can they be alike?
If a person sees them alike, then you get through the things, pain and pleasure.
They will never be alike.
You got to be sort of tolerant, equally tolerant of both.
We have to accept
Equally
what we are
tolerant.
saying.
Yeah, tolerate. That's why, I mean, previous sloka is, is connected to this sloka. So there he's saying that tolerate, and then here he is saying sama dukkha sukham. So sama is equal, same.
Yeah.
Indifferent.
Is
Be
what is the
indifferent.
direct meaning of it, but what is the inner meaning of that?
Be indifferent to either of those.
Don't feel the emotions or feel it or
All these are for the body, not for Atma.
Indifferent.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I think you just be with it, right? Whatever it is, you have to be able to be with happiness and sadness. Because again, when there's sadness, there'll be happiness. If there's happiness, there'll be sadness. So that's the cycle. So being attached to any one of them or thinking the other one will not happen. Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is also right. But I mean, that is when, so yes, when happiness is there, you are experiencing happiness. When it ends, you eventually become unhappy, right? Because thinking that, oh, my happiness is over. So that's why the root cause of happiness, unhappiness in our life is happiness and expectations on happiness. And so, but here he's saying sama dukkha sukham. So treat them as same is what is the kind of meaning that
Imposter, sir. So treat success and failure as imposters. It's a false identity, right? I mean, bottom line, success is only for the body. Failure is only for the body, right? If you come out of that, then it's an imposter.
Mhm.
It's
Okay.
not Ananta. It's not Ananta because it's a body. It's at the body level. So just treat success and failures as imposter. This saying, I think, it's if I remember correctly, somebody called Rudy. It was in the leadership thing long time back. But yeah, he had said this. But if I think back now, this is derived from Gita, right?
Mhm. So, Sama Dukkha Sukham. So when we are facing Sukham, right? When we are having pleasure, so somebody may say, "Oh, don't feel it." Okay. And when we are facing Dukkham, somebody may say, "Don't feel it." So then it becomes equal, right? But that is not possible. It is physically in our body. When we are made with these senses, they are affected by the nature. Okay, so one is the sensory experience, as you said, right? There is absolutely no way of getting like not feeling it. If there is a cold temperature, very hot temperature, you can't say that you don't feel it, right? So, and then when there is then when some sad event occurred, it's not possible to not feel it. I mean, if we don't feel it, then we don't become human beings, right? So we are going to feel the sukham and dukkham. Okay. So so we have sukham and then dukkham. We are feeling. That means you're not treating them as equal. Yeah, right. So what is that equal? Is when, let us say, we decide to do some activity. Again, here, this Amrutatvam is, I actually gave the answer already, but so this liberation, Amrutatvam, happens when we perform our duties, right? So when we perform our duties, okay, we should not be, choosing a duty because I like it and I have pleasure, and then if the pleasure stops, I come out of it, or if I start getting pain, I come out of it, or even before choosing the duty, I feel, oh, it is going to give me pain, I don't do it, or have set an expectation on the pleasure and start doing it. That is basically treating these sukham and dukkham, okay, as sukham and dukkham, and then taking the decision. So it is like you have a you have a flow chart. Most of you maybe computer programmers. So this is how we need to understand. So I want to do a duty. Okay. So there is a decision box there. Okay. Am I going to experience pleasure or pain? If I experience pleasure, do the duty. If I experience pain, then don't do the duty. So there is a decision box and then two paths going out of the decision box. And then there is a separate, you are taking an action based on the decision, right? So there you have two lines going, right? One going on a happy path, pleasure path, and then another one going pain path. If I say I'm going to experience pleasure, I'm going to do this. If I'm going to experience pain, I may not do this at all, or I may choose something else. So there is a separate path going. So we are not treating pleasure and pain equally. Our action is dependent on the pleasures and pains that we are going to, either anticipation of them or whether we are experiencing already. So we are not treating them equal. Now, if when we are treating them equal, that means our decision to do a particular activity has no bearing on pleasure and pain. Like there is no box, there is no such box, decision box called pleasure and pain. And then there's only one line going into, okay, this is my duty, I'm going to do it. So there I'm treating Sukham and Dukkham. There, those two lines which are, like imagine the flow chart to going two lines in two separate paths. I merge them together, right? So I'm not affected by any of that. My decision is not changed either before starting the duty or after starting the duty, while performing the duty. I am not changing myself based on, like, am I feeling pleasure? Am I feeling pain? Am I feeling pleasure, pain? Do this action, do that action. So that is not happening. So there, the Sukham and Dukkham have that differentiation has been lost. So I'm treating them as equal. I may be feeling pleasures and pains while doing it. It's not that I'm not going to feel it, but I'm not doing anything different than what I would do, even in whether I feel pleasure or pain. So then I'm treating it equally. Or the other way is to say mental balance. I'm not affected by it. So again, when I'm balanced means I'm not changing myself based on how I'm experiencing it. But typically the reason why I am explaining like in a flowchart is, if I just say mental balance, then it is hard to understand what is mental balance. Is basically that's what it is. So you're not getting affected by what you are feeling. You are definitely feeling it. No doubt about it, because we are physically designed to feel, but we don't change ourselves. Somebody was saying something.
It's like birth and death.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, when you are doing an activity, remember this. These are the 4 slokas. We learned about the Atma, Prakriti, and Paramatma. Okay, and then we learned basically that the Atma is always there, and Prakriti is always changing. So we learned that, and then immediately we learned about the body consists of senses, and we experience sensory pleasures because body is living in this nature, and nature is going to have influence on the body. Body is designed to experience sensory experiences, and our birth, by birth, we are going to have certain tendencies or vasanas, ruchis and vasanas they call. So we have certain tendencies that we cannot avoid them. You are born with them. So you are going to feel pleasures and pains and all the sensory pleasures, experiences. So we should tolerate them, and we should not be changing our duties based on how we are feeling. Then we will be doing our duty, and then when whoever does their duty without getting affected by the pleasures and pains is going to burn the karmic bondage, and also not going to get fresh karmic bondage. They are on the path towards liberation, and liberation is the goal. So done. So within 4 slokas, we get the primary foundation for ourselves. So we know about ourselves, we know how to behave, how to do our activities, and what is our goal. I mean, of course, there is more we will learn. Any questions? Yeah. This is Samadukha Sukham Dhiram is something that is confusing. Tolerating is confusing. So that's why I wanted to explain a little bit more. again with Acharya's blessings, Lord Krishna's blessings, we'll be able to. So don't change ourselves from doing our duties based on the pleasures and pains. It doesn't mean that we should, stop having any pleasure, because we don't want any pains. So don't have any pleasure. That is not the meaning of that. So we face the pleasures and pains. We shouldn't. We don't become inert. We cannot ask Paramatma to give us always pleasure, no pain. We cannot ask Paramatma to, not have any of them, no pleasure, no pain. So we will have the pleasures and pains, but we don't get affected by them. We do our duty, what we are supposed to, irrespective of what happens around us. So that is what, Arjuna, when he's feeling the pain, so he shouldn't have decided that I'm having pain, that's why I'm going to stop working, stop doing my duty. If he follows this principle, he should be, he should do his duty, right? Because he should have treated the dukkham. He shouldn't be affected by the dukkham. Okay, so, and then change his decision. Just like how he should not be affected by the sukham and change the decision. That is treating both, as far as proceeding in the direction of doing our duty, both pleasures and pains are equal for us. We don't change ourselves. Okay, we'll share the next sloka. Can you see sloka 16?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, please chant. Na sato vidyate bhavo.
Na sato vidyate bhavo.
Na bhavo vidyate sataha.
Na
bhavo
bhavo
vidyate
vidyate
sataha.
Ubhayorapi dushtontastu.
Ubhayorapi
दुष्टोऽन्तस्तु
dushtontastu
Anayos tattvadarshibihi.
Anayos
Tattvadarshibhi.
tattvadarshibhi
Let's chant together. Na
Sato
Na sato
vidyate
vidyate
bhavo.
bhavo Na
Bhavo
bhavo vidyate
vidyate
sataha
sataha.
Ubhayorapi
Ubhayorapi dushtontaha.
dushtontastu Vanayos tattvadarshibhi.
One more thing I need to mention. Samadukha sukham dhiram. So the wise person who is balanced when faced with pleasures and pains, and don't change. Don't change means continue to do the duty. So when in English, when we say balanced mind, is equanimity, right? Equanimous. Equanimous is that adjective for having balanced mind, isn't it?
Yes.
Equanimity or equanimous.
Yes, yeah.
Just searching the definition. So mental calmness, composure, and evenness of temper, especially in a difficult situation. That's the definition, dictionary.com. Equanimity. Okay. So I was just so we have optimist, opportunist, so all this is a person who is having that quality is we call ist, right? With the but there is no word for equanimist or equanimistic person. Equanimist is not there. Opportunistic person, you say, right? He is opportunist. Or there's so many words given for a person having a particular attribute or quality, but somehow this equanimist is not there. So we need to have this equanimity is we have to be equanimous. That is the most fundamental thing to get success in our life. Success is eternal bliss, but there's no word for it. So unfortunately, so we have to somehow, I'm taking this opportunity, we have to say equanimist. I'm an equanimist. Okay, so that is if you remember yourself as equanimist, so you're not disturbed by pleasures and pains, or you're not affected by them in a way that you change yourself. You change from person A to person B, or decision to A to decision B, or duty A to some other work. If you don't change based on what you're experiencing, okay, then it is equanimist. Be an equanimist. Okay, so when we are equanimist people, we will get the liberation. Okay, so think about that. That's a word that we need to have. I wish they added to the dictionary. Okay, so in the next sloka, Sloka 16, na asataha vidyate bhavaha. Okay, if you rearrange the words in a way, it makes sense for us. Asataha bhavaha na vidyate. So then the next is na abhavaha vidyate sataha. Is sataha abhavaha na vidyate. So what is sataha and asataha? Okay, this is something again very confusing. But now imagine I need to explain that our body is, our body is made up of two things. The one that is always changing, and there is something in this body that is always remains the same. So somebody doesn't know what is Atma. Okay, this is the first time you are explaining. You can't say Atma, right? Then what is Atma? They will say. So you have to start saying, explaining. That's what Lord Krishna is trying to do here. Trying to, again, we saw how he started Sloka 12 is you're always there, I'm always there, all these people are, they are always there in the past and also in the future, they will be there forever. There he's talking about Atma, not the body, because we know the body is not going to be permanent, and like Arjuna is like 92 years old at the time. So we know he's 92. He can't be more than 92 years old. So Lord Krishna is not talking about the body. He's talking about something that is that represents all these people, or some things that represent all these people, without naming it as Atma. Because you don't have to say Atma, your Atma, right? We explained that before. It is I, you, is Atma only. When I say I, this is, I'm to have to consider it is Atma, not body. And this is my body. So I can't say my Atma. So I don't have to use the word Atma at all when I'm explaining about myself. I am here in this body. This is my body. Okay. So then what's the need for the word Atma there? So that is how we started explaining. So I is Atma. So without saying the word Atma. Here also, Lord Krishna is saying there is Sataha and Asataha. Sataha is something that is not bound to change. Okay. It's very, these are certain words. There are other interpretations. I don't want to go into that, but most fundamental direct interpretation of this. Sataha is something that is existing, something that is not bound to change. Okay. There is. That means it is there. And this table, I'm just giving a example. Let us say this table is going to remain same without any change during the time that I am observing. Then I can say this is Sataha. This is not changing, right? Asataha is something that is bound to change. Okay. So, got it? So the first sentence, first pada is Asataha bhavaha na vidyate. Bhavaha is permanency, is there, is existing, permanent. Bhavaha is there. So that is permanent, is you are calling it as bhavaha. So asataha, that is something that is bound to change. For that, bhavaha, permanency, na vidyate, is not there. Okay. So there is something that is bound to change. For that, there is no permanent existence. So it is changing. Okay, this body now. What is that asataha is basically the body. He's talking about the body. So body that is bound to change will not remain permanent. Okay, because it is changing. And one day there is an end to it. As that body. It's not that the material that is there, the matter, not material, matter that the body is composed of, that matter will continue, but it will not continue like the body. So body is not permanent. He's saying that the body that is bound to change is not permanent. Sataha abhavaha na vidyate. So there is something that is not bound to change. For that, abhavaha, non-existence, na vidyate, is not there. So there is something in our body which is not bound to change. It is remaining forever, same, okay, without any change. For that, there is nothing called non-existence. So that means it will exist forever. Okay. So ubhayoh api anayoh antaha drishtaha. So that is antaha is conclusion, decision, which are the ultimate nature. Antaha ubhayoh anayoh. Ubhayoh is of those, of both. And so ubhayoh anayoh, both these. So both these is sataha asataha. Sataha is the Atma, and which is not bound to change, which is existing forever. And asataha is body, which is not permanent, which will have an end as the body. Okay. So these two, the decision of both these drishtaha is well understood. Is well understood I mean, Drishtaha is seen or well understood. By who? Tattvadarshini, by the seers of the reality, okay, or the realized souls, realized atmas, or realized elders, realized rishis, whatever. And so basically, what Lord Krishna is saying is, it is already concluded, already decided by people who know the tattva, who know the reality. They're the seers of reality, or they're the realized rishis. They already decided that there is something called Atma, which is not bound to change, and it always exists, and the body is bound to change, and it is not permanent. Okay, so Lord Krishna is explaining here that it is a foregone conclusion. It's already known. So it is not something that Lord Krishna is saying himself just to convince Arjuna. Okay, so it is body is bound to change and will perish. It is not permanent. Atma is not bound to change. It is not changing, and it will exist forever. That's what is already declared by all these realized souls who have seen, who have understood the, this body and Atma concept. Okay. So Lord Krishna is talking about, so he said Anarya Justam Aswargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna, right? So Anarya Justam is actually, now he's explaining, and Sri Swamiji very clearly explained recently, like why Lord Krishna is suddenly talking about these Tattvadarshis are able to see all these things. Basically, this Anarya Justam is what he's talking about. The learned people will not be pleased with your actions, right? I mean, the wise people, wise elders, wise rishis, are they will not appreciate, or they will not be pleased with your actions. Why? He's answering now. So wise elders know that there is body and Atma. Okay, so I mean, he's continuing. Lord Krishna continues to explain about the body and Atma, their body qualities and Atma qualities and all that. Then coming slokas. Okay. So we'll go to Sloka 17. Sloka 17. Can you see the screen?
Just a minute.
Yeah. Okay, please chant. Avinasitu tadvidhi
Avinashitu tadvidhi
yena sarvamidam tatam
Yena
sarvamidam
sarvamidam
tatam
vinasamavyyasyasya
vinashamagyasyasya
na kaschit kartumarhati.
na
kashchit
kartumarhati.
kartumarhati
Chant together.
Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamagyasyasya na kashchit kartumarhati.
So Lord Krishna is saying, continuing to say, he's explaining about body and Atma, right? So Avinasi tat vidhi. Vidhi means no. So he's telling Arjuna, is kind of giving an instruction to Arjuna, vidhi. So know that what he should, what he should know. Tat vidhi. So tat, that, right? What is that? That is Sataha. Sataha is Atma, that is not bound to change, will always exist. Tataha Avinasi is imperishable. Okay, there's no vinasam, that is imperishable. So, okay, and the second padam, Yena sarvam idam tatam. Yena, by which? Idam sarvam tatam. All this is pervaded. That's the kind of literal translation. So now, one understanding is, okay, Atma is pervading this entire material universe. Idam sarvam. Okay. Okay. So basically, there is nothing in this world that is manifested. What we can, I mean, we're not able to see a lot of things, like a virus we cannot see with our eyes, but everything, anything that is manifested, whether we are able to see or not, everything is pervaded by Atma. Okay, idam sarvam tatam is pervaded. Entire thing is pervaded by this, which is imperishable. Again, there's no word Atma here. Okay, but he's talking about that Sataha, which is always existing, which is different from the one that is not existing, which has a definite end. So you know that it's not body, right? I mean, so something that is always existing cannot be the body. So something that is inside the body. He's explaining what is inside the body. So that, so Yena idam sarvam tatam, by which, now idam sarvam. Now we can understand that idam is this, right? I mean, he's talking about something, tat is that is Atma, that we cannot see, which is, which is a distant concept for us at this time, right? So something that we cannot perceive. So that is there somewhere. That's what we think. So that Sataha, which is always existing, is pervading this idam sarvam. Now, here we can take this as this entire body. Okay, so our body. So he talked about a body and Atma there, and he's saying the Atma is pervading idam sarvam. Now, we can generalize it and say that that Atma is pervading the entire universe, but let's take it as that for a particular body, right? For this body, that, let us say, if you take myself, Atma is pervading this entire body. For some other being, some other body, Atma is pervading that body. Some other body, Atma is pervading body. So it is basically the Atma pervades the entire body. It is not like limited to one place. Okay, in the body. So if you take the entire universe, if you take, then Atma is pervading the entire body for each of the bodies, right? So there is another body with Atma in it, another body with Atma in it, and that is pervading. So you can take that Atma pervades the entire universe, right? But there is plurality there. But when you are talking about one body, okay, it is one, which is pervading this body, and when that leaves, then the body does not function. That is what Lord Krishna is trying to explain, as we go along. So because for someone who doesn't know this Atma concept, this is how we are Lord Krishna is introducing. So there is a body which is which is not permanent. Okay. And then there is Atma, which is permanent and which is always existing. And this Atma is pervading this body. And that's what he explained now. Okay. Then he's saying, Vinasam avyayasya asya na kaschit kartumarhati. So there is nothing is capable of destroying this. Okay. So what is this asya? Asya of this is the one that is pervading the entire body. Avyayasya, asya avyayasya. This is the sixth case. So of this, of indestructible, he didn't say Atma there again. Of this indestructible entity which is called Atma. Okay. Vinasam kartum kaschitna arhati. That is, nothing is capable of bringing about the destruction of this. So nothing can destroy the Atma. So that's why it is permanent. It is not changing, it is permanent. Body is not permanent because bodies can be destroyed. So he differentiated. One is something that is perishable, body is perishable. He defined the one that is inside the body is avinasi, it is imperishable. It is pervading the entire body, idam sarvam tatam. And then he said, of this that cannot be destroyed, okay, there's nothing in this world that is capable of destroying it, including, so when he's saying nothing, no weapons, no, including Paramatma cannot destroy Atma, okay? There's nothing that is capable of destroying. So Atma will remain without change forever. Any questions on this? So this Atma is pervading this entire body. Okay. Shall we do one more sloka? Or, maybe 10 minutes. It'll take another 10 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Any questions? So maybe we'll take the remaining 3-4 minutes explaining further about. So nothing can destroy.
I have a question. So I know we say everything changes.
Wow.
Does Atma like never change? Never?
Atma never changes. So Atma does not change with the body that it takes. Okay.
Right. So then Atma
Atma
never. So Atma like never gets older. Atma never changes. Atma is not.
Old. There's no age for Atma. It's one of the tricky questions. What is our age? So if we are thinking I am Atma, then there's no age for me. But if I'm thinking I'm body, then there is an age. There is age. It's when this body took birth. So Atma can pervade the entire body, right? By not growing. It is not growing to pervade the entire body. Someone is ringing. Okay. So Atma is not growing in order to pervade the body. Okay, so it is able to pervade the body through its knowledge, just like I believe we discussed last week. So when there is light in the light bulb in the room, the glow is spreading the entire room, right? So light is not going all over the place to glow the room, to illuminate the room. That illumination is happening throughout the room, even though light is in one place. Okay, so like that, the Atma is there in one place. It's so minuscule. Again, that will come. All the properties of Atma will come, or attributes. So it is so smaller than the smallest particle that we can think of. Atma is actually not even made of this concept of Panchabhutas, right? It is not made of Panchabhutas. So we can't even compare that way. But imagine it is the smallest that you can ever think of. But its knowledge spreads throughout the body. That's how it is pervaded. Okay, so this Atma is pervading my body, throughout the body, spreading the knowledge. I'm able to see, I'm able to hear, I'm able to talk, I'm able to perceive, I'm able to think, I'm able to remember. I'm able to walk, I'm able to use my hands. So body is growing, you know. So not just that, all these are like sensory, the senses of perception and senses of action that I talked about, but the entire body is also growing. So there is some knowledge that is there throughout the body that stops when when Atma leaves the body. Okay, so it is if let us say there's an ant and then there's an elephant. Atma in an ant is having the same size and Atma in an elephant. The knowledge that spreads within that ant is limited to that body, and it is covered by the whatever is the karmic records that that ant has. Okay, I mean, even two ants may be having two different karmic records, right? And compare between ant and an elephant, the karmic records are different. Why somebody takes one type of birth compared to other type of birth, that is also explained later. Lord Krishna explained. So when an Atma takes birth in a particular body, it's not that Atma is changing to fit in that body and then grow with the body. Okay, it is always same, no, not changing with the body. When it leaves the body, it goes and takes another body, then it will be having the same size, same knowledge. Knowledge doesn't get knocked out just because it went into an ant, this particular life, and then next life it is in a lion or a human. Or in the previous life, it was a great president of America, and the next life it is an ant. Doesn't change. That knowledge remains same, but based on the karmic records and the gunas that are carried, that particular Atma behaves and experiences, in that particular way. So it's not that originally it was, that it is not changing its nature. The nature is remaining the same, but imagine something is covering up, just those are karmic records. So covering up, and that's what is letting the particular Atma to behave, drive that body in a particular way.
But with the age, right, like I cannot imagine what animals feel, but for us, just being a human being, right, since you're a baby to as you grow, although Atma is the same, right, but we still go through all the experiences, right, and stages, and because we've not realized, right, I guess who we are, we become like the body, right? So I think Atma is there, but the awareness is for us to get, right? That, to keep learning and being aware, I guess, as we go through various stages.
Yeah. So we get this knowledge to correct ourselves, to connect with Paramatma, and then clean ourselves, right? If you don't take physically, like if you let us say we are, we're not aware of how to clean ourselves. Like we're not aware that there's water to clean our body. There is a place where we can get the water, and then we can just go there and clean ourselves. If we are not aware, we just keep going with all the dirt and dust and all the things on our body, right? So if we are aware, making ourselves aware of how to clean our body, and going to that place and then washing ourselves and taking bath or whatever, then we are cleaning. Same way, if we are aware of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and with Acharya's blessings, we get the knowledge, and then if we take bath in it, literally, then it will clean ourselves. So here it is cleaning our karmic records, not cleaning our body, right? It is cleaning our karmic records. I mean, now on we should think that I am Atma, this is my body. That is the fundamental reason why Arjuna was having the sorrow, was he could not differentiate between Atma and body. And he thought Atma is, he thought, I am body, they are body, like that, they are bodies. So he could not differentiate. There is an Atma in a body. Atma lives forever, doesn't change. And then bodies, no matter what we do, they will perish. All that, some kind of ignorance came on him, and he forgot, or or maybe he didn't know that clearly. So Arjuna, Lord Krishna is giving the knowledge to Arjuna. So if we get that same knowledge, we start, saying, okay, I have a duty. I have to do my duties properly. How we need to do will if I do my duties without getting affected by all these external sensory pleasures and pains, so then I'm going towards, I'm cleaning myself and going towards my goal. Okay, 6 minutes passed, so we'll conclude for today.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Kayena vacha
मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु ओम अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः जय श्रीमन्नारायण
Yes, Sri
Jai
Krishna.
Srimanarayan.
Sir,
Thank you so much.
श्रीमन्नारायण
Thank you, sir.